morning, Jared and Pauline. It's Wednesday. Last night I finished reading 10,000 pages, which was a goal that I set for myself this summer. I want to read a few things that I've highlighted out of the books that I was willing to write. I wanted to start with Jazz by Toni Morrison. She said, "What's the world for if you can't make it up the way you want it?" The way I want it? Yeah, the way you want it. Don't you want it to be something more than what it is? What's the point? I can't change it. That's the point. If you don't, it will change you, and it'll be your fault because you let it. I let it, and it messed up my life. The only thing I want to read out of Fight Club are these 3 lines, which I feel encapsulate a lot of the message of the book. If you can wake up in a different place, if you can wake up in a different time, why can't you wake up as a different person? I also read Hocus Pocus, which was the last book that I finished. I did not realize at the time how much the story affected me. Reading it was simply a way of putting off for just a little while my looking for another job and another place to live at the age of 51 with 2 lunatics in tow. But deep down, the story was beginning to work like a buffered analgesic. Pronouncing things. For me, reading Frankenstein was a really trippy experience because it's even more similar to Heart of Darkness than I thought it would. My duties towards the beings of my own species had greater claims to my attention because they included a greater proportion of happiness or misery. There is something at work in my soul which I do not understand. And finally, a book that I have read several times and I think will probably remain one of my favorites for a very long time. Looking for Alaska. There is something else entirely. There is a part of her greater than the sum of her knowable parts, and that part has to go somewhere because it cannot be destroyed. Although no one will ever accuse me of being much of a science student, one thing I learned from science classes is that energy is never created and never destroyed. And if Alaska But that part of us greater than the sum of our parts cannot begin and cannot end, and so it cannot fail. Thomas Edison's last words were, "It's very beautiful over there." I don't know where there is, but I believe it's somewhere, and I hope it's beautiful. I have had to work very hard to pull myself up to a level of confidence where I felt like I could be whoever I wanted to be, no matter what other people are saying. And all 3 of us contribute to each other in a way that I'm afraid I'm not going to find again. Just at the end of the day, I guess what I'm asking is that you guys, in the checks that you have, don't let me become petty, don't let me become arrogant, or at least more arrogant than I am. Keep making this video project feel like Christmas. And don't forget that if you decide to just show up in San Diego, you can have my bed any day. Well, I love you guys, and I guess I'll just see you soon.